Hey everyone, nic+sigala here, owner of My Therapy Marketing Solutions, digital marketing and client expectations director for Armstrong Family Counseling, author, entrepreneur, and personal development junkie. Today's episode is entitled I Am an Atheist, and I'll be interviewing Brad Fitzpatrick. He'll give us some insight on what it means to be atheist. Check it out. So I'm here with Brad Fitzpatrick. How you doing, Brad?
Very well. About yourself?
Doing very well. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You mentioned you travel and you've traveled growing up in the as a military child.
I have.
What's Brad's story?
That's a very complicated question. Military Brad, as I said, I've been to Kansas where I was born, Korea from there, Washington State from there, Alabama from there, New York from there, and then finally here in Oklahoma.
Wow.
Yes.
And you stayed here?
Not by choice.
That seems to be the common thread around here, right?
Well, they always say Lawton is a black hole, and that seems to be where I'm at right now.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I thank you for your time.
Of course.
And for meeting with us. And as I mentioned before, the topic is I am an atheist. So I've come up with a few different questions that I was hoping you could answer. And the first one, in your own words, what does it mean to be an atheist?
Basically, for my opinion, an atheist is somebody who just really doesn't believe in any sort of deity by nature. We may have our own specific beliefs, but it is not of a deity. Like me, personally, I believe in people as a whole. There are good people, there are bad people, and that is it. It's kind of the way life is.
Okay.
You can't really control anything that goes on, so why bother?
So there's no supreme intelligence, there's no higher power, so to speak.
Correct.
It's we're here and this is this, and we do what we do and we make what we make, and that's what we're here to do.
That's exactly what we're here to do.
Okay, perfect. I like that. That's clear, concise. How long have you held your belief system of?
Well, I mean, when you say it's a belief system, as I said, there's not really a big belief there. I would say I started when I was about 9 years old. Mm-hmm. Family was a church-going family to begin with. I used to go to church. But then there was sort of an existential crisis there where I felt by looking outward, I could see faults. Where people told me, no, belief is all you need. And I could not connect those dots. I couldn't use belief as a crutch to allow certain things to happen. Because when we started to use things like God plans this out, then I think to myself, well, why does God kill babies? That shouldn't happen.
It's not justice, right?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, things happen. I mean, I heard a quote at one point in time, later on past this time, where it said, God is either all good or all powerful. He can't be both. Because if he's all good, then bad things wouldn't happen all the time. But he's all powerful and he does do everything, and that doesn't mean he's all good, because all bad things happen.
Okay. So you're around 9 years old, and it's hard to just believe because that's what you're told to do, and that's just the way that people do things. And it's like, hey, have faith because we do too.
Exactly.
I could totally get that.
It was kind of like almost a break in indoctrination at that point.
Okay.
When you go and you're told specific things like, God has a plan. God is there for you when you need him. But then you realize specific things as a 9-year-old when you're praying. You realize, who am I really praying to but myself? Who am I empowering when I ask for these things but myself? who am I saying, please God, will tomorrow be great because I worship you? When I realize myself, I can make tomorrow great just by changing my attitude.
I'm glad you said that. So in the last episode that I had, there's something that I said. I said that my goal every day is to go and change the world. And how I can change the world is I can just bring a positive attitude to the equation, and then everything within my realm of control will be positive because I choose that. So I'm big into choice. Like you, that's for another time. But let's just say I agree with you there. It's we definitely choose how we perceive things, and we can be in control of our outcomes.
In that state, though, that sort of positive attitude is a social construct, too. Because even though you may be happy, you may be able to create change. It's not a domino effect unless somebody else is able to also feel that change. And that's where religion actually comes in handy.
I can understand that. Are there any religions that you think of that have that domino effect?
I mean, you have your basics. And whenever you have, your Christianity, your Catholicism, your Muslimism, and any of those others, they all, when you have that indoctrination of feelings, it dominoes everybody, because this person believes, the preacher starts at the head, and he's the one that says, this is what happens. And that first person that believes, and it spreads out. Those are all dominoes falling. Completely. Until the end. Until you have one person that just says, wait, what? And then it stops falling. But every religion is kind of like that.
Okay.
I think the one that's, the one I feel is kind of weird, though, is like Buddhism.
Okay.
Specifically because Buddhism does not worship a deity at all. It's more about yourself and everything else around you. And from there, it becomes a thought process of when you better yourself and you do what's best for yourself and then those around you, that also betters yourself. And it just cascades out.
A Jewish prophet once said, you reap what you sow.
Always.
And I believe that. You know what I mean? I call it the law of the farm. I read that somewhere, where if you put seeds in the ground, you take care of the seeds, they'll grow. Seeds can be behaviors, habits that you develop, whatever the case is. But I think that's right. The Buddhist concept of everything cascading based off of what you put in. It's like the energy you put into something, it comes back out in a certain way. So I like that. The next question I was going to ask you is what moved you to choose to become an atheist, but we kind of already covered that ground.
Yep.
So the next question I have is, what has been an essential component to maintaining your conviction to what you believe, or I should say, what you don't believe?
Number one, the news.
Okay.
It's kind of one of those things. It's, as I said earlier, there are good people and there are bad people. Good people will do good things. Those people are great in this world. And then you also have bad people. And bad people do some really bad things. And not all of us escape those bad things. Personal conflicts aside, I've gone through my fair share of horrible events.
The journey.
Yes. And it solidifies that if there was anything, regardless of just good and bad people, why?
It's a good question.
And of course, if you would ask any sort of religious leader, they'd be like, to test you, to make sure that you are prepared for what's next. But you're never prepared for what's next.
That's very true. My thought on that is, there's opposition and everything. And kind of like when we're lifting weights, there has to be an opposing force. Otherwise, we don't gain strength. We're just doing something and not gaining anything. Now, does that answer a lot of questions? No. But we're not here to talk about my thoughts. We're here to talk about yours. And that can be tough when you see everything that's happening. And you see that everything that's happened because of religion, specifically, like that could be a tough pill to swallow. So I totally understand and see, where you're coming from. So the next question I have for you today, Brad, is tell me, it's not even a question, it's more of a prompt. Tell me about a common misunderstanding or what people misperceive about you as an atheist or about just atheists in general.
Atheists in general get a kind of a bad rap because people think we're bad, hands down. Specifically from those who are religious based. And you're like, oh my God, you don't believe in God? Well, you're going to hell. And my thoughts is...
So judgmental.
Right. My thought is basically is that if there was a God who dictates who comes and goes to hell or heaven, why do you have to believe in him to get in? If you are good-natured and you do good things, wouldn't he just let you in anyway? The point is to be good.
That would make sense if you had a father who loved you.
Exactly. And it's one of those things that's, if you see an atheist being good, which a lot of us are, a lot of us do our best to be good. We don't do it out of some fear of hellfire and brimstone. We do it because we want to be.
You do it because you want to be good.
Exactly.
You do it because your heart's in the right place.
Exactly. It's the surprising thing that we get so much flack for people being bad, and they group us all together, just like everybody else in the world. Some of us just want to be good, and nobody's the same.
I'm glad you said that. My best friend is an atheist, all right? And I'm a Mormon. We've been best friends for 15 years, okay? And we've done our fair share of good and bad stuff. But he's always been good-natured. He's never done something that I can recollect out of spite. He's made mistakes, but we all do. Good person. And like you said, he's not good because he wants to go to heaven. He's good because it's the right thing to do.
It's always the right thing to do.
And that's commendable. I can see how that could be a misperception or a stigma that people place on one who's atheist, just because probably their lack of knowledge or their self-righteousness and pride.
Which is probably one of the worst sins out there, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, they say pride always precedes the fall, as they say.
Always.
So as an atheist, Brad, what advice would you give another atheist regarding your state of mind and who you are as one who doesn't believe in a higher power?
Probably just do good.
Do good.
Just do good. I mean, that's just a fundamental state of being. We're all here surviving. We don't know what's going to happen next. The best thing that we can leave behind is a good story. Because we are only as good as what people remember us by. So if you're going to be bad, that's just who you are. But it'd be better to be good because, specifically if you have children.
And you do.
I do. I have 2 little girls. It's better if, like right now, I can tell you everything great about my father. He was a man who did great things in the military, fought for his life, still alive. But he's a great man. And I'll tell my children know that. And then my grandchildren will know that. Because it's all about the story we leave behind. And the best story you can leave is that you were a good man. But not because you went to heaven or hell, but because you wanted to be good.
I agree with that. There's a scripture that says faith without works is dead. So there's a lot of people out there that have faith that don't do good. So their faith is dead. At least that's how I interpret it. The last question that I have for you today, Brad, is what is it about not believing that brings you the most satisfaction in life?
That is a difficult question. Life is not satisfactory at all. Life is a bumpy road. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it's not. But when you take away any sort of divine intervention, you empower yourself to realize that the bumps are there. And so are the smooth parts. And you realize that that's just the way life is. You take it as you roll.
Okay.
The freedom of empowering yourself.
To choose for yourself.
Yeah.
So, is that the same? Would you give the same advice to a person that believed in a higher power?
The advice I would give to anybody, ever, regardless of if they believe in any sort of higher power, has always been, you believe what you choose. If that makes you happy, do it. Because nobody else is going to change your happiness but you.
I like that. Nobody else is going to change your happiness but you. That is a choice.
That is.
It is. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate your insights, and I am confident that this is going to make some heads turn, because a lot of people don't understand people who don't believe the same way that they do. And I think that one of the biggest things that we as humans need or get satisfaction from is being understood. I know that's what I love about my wife. She understands me, and that's like that bonds us. So I hope that this is going to bring understanding to some people that may not understand. So again, thank you for your time.
Of course.
It's been real. Hey everybody, this is nic+sigala and Brad Fitzpatrick. Go ahead, say I am an atheist.
I am an atheist.
Nice.
I'd like to thank Brad Fitzpatrick for taking the time to share his story and his perspective with us. Stay tuned for the next episode in the I+am+podcast series. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any ideas or would like to hear about any certain topic, shoot us an email. mytherapymarketingsolutions@gmail.com. My name is nic+sigala, and I am who I am.